Hi Tiny Bakers! It is time for Christmas baking. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to kick it off with one of my favorites. That's right, red velvet cake, because it's Christmas. You've got to have a red cake, right? So grab your ingredient card, grab your ingredients, preheat your oven, and come bake with us.
Take your pan and spray it with vegetable spray.
The next thing we want to do is take our red velvet cake mix from MITTY'S Mini Kitchen, and we want to add 2 tablespoons of warm water. So 1, 2. Make sure the water is warm, and you want to mix it for 2 full minutes to really get the ingredients mixed together well so it bakes well. Keep mixing that for 2 minutes, and when you get this consistency, you'll know that you're ready to go. It's ready to pour into the pan. So just pour it all right into the pan. Now we're just going to spread it in the pan. Now we're going to put our red velvet cake into the Easy Bake Oven, into the baking chamber. Once we hear that click, we're going to look in and we're going to make sure that both sides of the Easy Bake Oven inside baking are down. Otherwise it would be like baking with your oven door open and it will never cook. When the timer goes off, just take your tool and push your cake through to the cooling chamber and set your timer for 5 minutes. Once your cake is in the Easy Bake Oven cooling chamber, you can turn your tiny oven off or keep it on if you're going to bake more cakes. Once your cake is finished cooling in the cooling chamber, you want to get it out of the tiny oven. They do give you this tool to use to get it out with. But I have found the easiest way to do it is to simply tip it and let your cake slide right out. You can leave it there a few more minutes to let it cool down. So take out your icing and really give it a good mix to make sure it's all blended. Look at that. Oh, so good. I might have to take a little taste. That is yumminess. Look at this tiny tackle box that I have of different ideas to put on top of my cakes. So here we have white pearls, silver pearls, tiny little candy canes. Oh, I'm gonna have to save that for a frozen cake. Holly leaves and berries. We've got some white snowmen, some little Christmas trees. I don't know if you can see this. How cute. That's a tiny little gingerbread man. We have gold. These are red and green little Christmas lights. And then we have these pretty little, really not dark red, they're more of a pinkish red little balls. I don't know. What do you think we should use? Just loosen the edges. Flip your cake onto a tray. So you could icing this cake as it is and put some fun decorations on top, but I decided to take this particular cake and my round cookie cutters, and I'm going to make tiny round cakes out of my mini cake. I'm going to make a teeny tiny layered cake. So now I'll have 2 small. We'll do a teeny tiny 3-layered cake and then a single layer cake. I'll show you what else we can do with this extra cake. could either eat it, or I'm going to show you one more idea for that. Now, anytime you're icing a cake, it's best to put a little bit on the plate or whatever you're going to display it on, because as you icing it, that will help keep it in place. So then just set that down. Then you're going to do a little dollop. It's actually going to be easier from this point to use what we call an offset spatula. See how it's angled? The other thing I like to do is dip it into a little bit of warm water. That helps your icing spread easily. See how much easier that is? Now we're going to put the second layer on.
The higher the cake, the more topsy-turvy it can get, so just hold on to it lightly. So this first layer of icing is called a crumb coat. We're just trying to cover up all the cake. We're not trying to make it pretty just yet. It helps to have a paper towel nearby to keep your utensils clean. Our crumb coat is done, so we're going to stick it in the refrigerator for about 10 to 15 minutes for this size of a cake. After you've let the crumb coat set, now it's time to icing it and make it look pretty. When making teeny tiny cakes, it's easier to icing the sides if you tilt it a little bit. Remember, you put that little bit of icing below it, so that will anchor it in place. Oh, look at all these teeny tiny decorations. I'm not sure which ones I want to use on my teeny tiny cake. What do you think we should use? I think these tiny candy canes are perfect. And I think I'll use red sprinkles for the sides of the cake. To get those sprinkles to really stay on the cake, just tap it lightly with your spatula. Now we're going to decorate our single layer teeny tiny cake. Remember, the first coat is always a crumb coat, so don't worry about it looking pretty at this point. You just want to cover up all the cake. The crumb coat looks good, so set it in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now for the leftover cake. Can you guess what we're going to make? We're going to start by crumbling it into the bowl. All we want in the bowl are soft pieces. Any of the hard pieces you could throw away, but why would you? Eat them. Start adding some of the icing to the crumbled cake. Add just enough icing to make little cake balls out of your cake mixture. Remember, we're making cake pops. If you add too much icing, it won't stick together. I think I'll only make 2 cake pops out of this, so I'm going to use a tablespoon to scoop it out and form the ball. For the stem for these tiny cake pops, I'm actually using a toothpick. Stick it in your icing and then put it in the middle. That helps anchor the stem. Now put them in your refrigerator for about 15 minutes to allow them to set. While our cake pops are setting, we're going to get started on decorating our single layer teeny tiny cake. To really get your icing to look smooth and neat, dip your spatula in warm water. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Have fun. Oh, here we go with choices again, but I think I'm going to use this little bead. It's so pretty. Look at our teeny tiny cake. Isn't she pretty? We're going to clean up the edges and put her back in the fridge to set. Now back to the cake pops. Time to decorate those. I think we need to add a little bit of green, don't you? This icing is so white and fluffy that the little cake pops are actually looking like little snowballs. So cute. I think we should call these Grinch cake pops, don't you? Green on the outside and red on the inside, just like his big heart at the end of the movie. And now for the fun part. We're going to put together our teeny tiny Christmas tray of treats. First up is our 3-layered teeny tiny red velvet cake, followed by our single layer red velvet cake. Last up, our tiny Grinch cake pops. How cute are those, giving us just enough green. And there you have it, our teeny tiny Christmas tray of treats. We hope you like the ideas we've given you today, and we'd love to see what you create. Be sure to tag us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And now for the best part, cutting of the teeny tiny cake. Be sure to check out all of our tiny gourmet mixes at www.mittysminicooking.com. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy baking.